Americans are living longer, but health experts say the goal is more than just longevity. A survey from the U.S. News and World Report shows the simple diet habits are still the most powerful way to age well. WIFR reporter Miriam Niesmeyer talks with health experts about ways you can live longer.
I always tell patients, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Heather Gibson with OSF Cardiovascular Institute agrees with a new U.S. News and World Report that shows exercise, nutritious food, and sleep are the top factors in healthy aging.
Diet is a very important factor in leading a healthy lifestyle, making sure that you're eating plenty of nice leafy green vegetables, fruits, avoiding processed foods.
The survey of more than 50 health experts highlights how unhealthy choices affect the brain, heart, and daily energy levels. A Mercy Health dietitian, Christine Gillette, says walking every day can improve moods.
You are more sedentary. We tend to have more muscle loss. We tend to have more cognitive dysfunction just because we're just sitting there not doing much of anything.
Gibson says she often notices healthier benefits once patients make changes.
It's never too late to start living a healthy lifestyle and making those lifestyle changes and adjustments to your lifestyle to improve your overall quality of life.
Gillette says set a goal for yourself.
Give yourself some grace during that process. So for instance, personally this week, I want to be more active, okay? So set a realistic timeline so you're not setting yourself up for failure.
In Rockford, Miriam Niesmeyer, WIFR News.
Gibson says to take small steps when starting that new lifestyle change, but the key is just to get started.